welcome to Ramblings with Rebecca. Today is going to be quite a ramble, but it's going to focus on the fact that dinosaurs are alive. I know I sound completely insane and I'm probably some weird meme, because the light's always also doing funny things as I'm like moving away and from the, anyway, okay, sorry. I will try to keep the light focused by not moving in and out of the shot. Anyway, okay, so quite a ramble. Eventually we'll get to the point where we have the bit on dinosaurs are alive, and I'll explain why the heck that is. The Marshall Aid Commemoration Commission, aka the people who fund my scholarship, take all of the Marshall Scholars to each of the devolved governments on a triennial basis. So we visit Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland and see their devolved local parliaments, visit some of the universities, that kind of thing. It's one of the few times when the classes of Marshall, so the different years, spend a prolonged amount of time together and really get to know each other. It's really cool because generally we'll meet like the first minister of the country and that kind of thing. A grand time. So this year was Scotland's year. So I've been away here, but here. Because suddenly there were 50 Americans on my turf and we were scheduled, all hours of the day and night, more or less, being college Marshall students. I took them out to some of the Edinburgh locations, and then actually Monday night everybody was in my flat. It was very exciting. Anyway, so but among all of the meetings, we also will go to universities that are big in the area and hear talks from faculty who are doing interesting things. A core part of the discussions this trip has definitely been Scotland's independence referendum, of course, and debates, professors giving talks about, from the military side of things, from the economy side of things, from the ballot, voting trends, all kinds of things, about what all will go down. We've been debating, EU and NATO membership. Anyway, it's been grand fun. But in the midst of all of these, the University of Edinburgh was smart enough to trot out a former Marshall Scholar, who's one of those who stayed in the UK. So he came over, he did his PhD while a Marshall Scholar, met this individual who happened to have British citizenship and just never quite left. He's still pretty young. But so he's now actually a research fellow at the University of Edinburgh. This guy's like my neighbor, and I never knew how cool he was. Dr. Stephen Brusette, I actually don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, Stephen, because I just called him Stephen. He's a Chancellor's Fellow in Vertebrate Paleontology in Marshall. What that means is that he plays with dinosaurs. Of course, he also works with dinosaurs. Obviously, like what he does is work. But so in the middle of all of these, Scottish independence debates, this guy comes in and he's like, yo, let's talk about dinosaurs. And the geek level just is like through the roof with all of these Marshall kids, right? Because like we're all dorks. We all like memorized the Latin names when we were 5, all of this. Grand fun. And what Stephen did for much of his PhD and is still working on is like dinosaur family trees kind of things, and looking at evolutionary trends as far as when how dinosaurs came to be, and particularly how dinosaurs came to be dominant. Because in fact, like dinosaurs in their first instance were like little dinky things that weren't at all like the dominant life form on Earth. Then there was this mass extinction, just bajillions, I'm exaggerating, of species, maybe I'm not, I don't know, of species dying out. And at that time, there's a possibility that crocodiles were going to become majorly the dominant, and instead somehow the dinosaurs did. So he's trying to figure out that. But then also, in doing all of this family tree work, he's come to definitely be part of the school that sees like dinosaurs and birds actually the same family. And we actually think that dinosaurs, as we know them, in fact were covered with feathers, even the ones that didn't fly. Like we wouldn't actually, if we just saw them, know the difference between them and birds. Craziness. So he took us through like all the skeletons that show these and all of these kind of things, and we all got like crazy geeky. So message: dinosaurs are alive and flying around your head. And it's cool and you should look it up.